So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the talk show. And, we got a lot of things to talk about today. So, as you can still see, the title says talk about episode 23, Monday Night Inferno, and Thursday Night Lockdown. And good morning, Alex King. Welcome to the chat. Now, if you guys have not seen the last episode, I want to give a huge shout out for the man for everything that he's done. Kevin Impact done a very good job on the podcast. We got 100 views, so that definitely deserves a little bit of a clap here. So we're gonna thank you for that. And it's going to be an interesting talk show, But going back to Kevin Impact, 100 views, stopped by and took his time, and it was a great show. I mean, if you guys not watched it, go to episode 2, Nitro is Dead. You got a lot of stuff out of that episode. So I want to personally thank Kevin Impact for what he did. And also, not only that, I'm going to post it right here today. Tonight, if you guys ain't doing nothing, it's a Christmas Eve, but also JTV Wrestling live tonight, 6 p.m. Snow Showdown. Need to go check that out. I'm not going to tell what happens, but I can guarantee you, if you're a WCW wrestling fan, you're going to enjoy the content tonight. Now, we're going to go with this in the upcoming shows. Now, speaking about shows, if you guys not watched the JTV YouTube channel, go and subscribe to JTV and keep up with them, because you never know who's going to show up there. Only thing I'm going to say is damn great content, and I can guarantee you we definitely going to bring Kevin Impact back for a future podcast. Like I said, show starts tonight on a Christmas Eve, 6 p.m. You guys are going to be in for a hell of a show for Christmas Eve. Now, we're getting back on Monday Night Inferno and Thursday Night Lockdown. So we're going to do this on this show. Any of you has questions, I'm going to answer them best of my knowledge. Now, what's coming in the future episodes, I can't expose, but any of those episodes that you have questions about, you guys have questions about that. So also, I'm going to give a huge show on stage here to Alex King here. He said, breaking news, PWA will be back next year. Huge shout out to Alex King for what he does over PWA, keeping it drama free, as well as JTV, myself, Ricky Armstrong, DJ Chaotic. All of us is coming together for a positive cause. Now, I have to go back on what Kevin Impact talked about last episode. The thing is about the people that's hating on us, they can continue hating because I don't have time for their energy or negativity. So there's that. It is what it is moving forward. So now, I'm going to go back and answer this question here. Favorite ECW of all time, favorite moment. That's actually a good question, because I got a lot of ECW moments that really brought to heart, as an ECW fan. And one of those would be, Shane Douglas and Brian Pillman. Shane Douglas was, is still to this day a great wrestler. One of the best. I mean, to me personally, he was an ECW world champion, and I would love to see him win the WWE title. I think he deserves one WWE title run, but I don't really see that happening because it's run by TKO, and we know how TKO operates. If you don't have the money or the views or fit their pockets for their system, then you're pretty much getting screwed, blued, and tattooed. So, favorite moment of ECW, definitely Shane Douglas and Brian Pillman. Another favorite ECW moment I had was also Rob Van Dam and John Cena One Night Stand 2006. That was in the Hammerstein Ballroom, which is the 2300 arena. That's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Really good arena, and it's got some most legendary stuff that's happened there as far as ECW tapings go. Going back to Monday Night Inferno and Thursday Night Lockdown. Now, these coming episodes, we got a huge main event match just announced for Thursday Night Lockdown. Now, in the chats, Austin Ace Carter and Nick Cayenne is feuding over the television titles. So here's what I'm going to do for Thursday night. Nick Cayenne, I hope you're listening. Austin Ace Carter, I hope you're listening, because, Nick, you are the television champion. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give the people a New Year's present. 20 Iron Man ECW Extreme Rules match between you and Austin Ace Carter for the television championship on episode 23 of Thursday Night Lockdown. Huge main event there. Now, the question is, Nick, can you beat Austin Ace Carter and remain champion, or will we see a new champion for the new year? Also, another good match I'm going to book. Triple threat action. Champion versus champion versus champion. On Thursday Night Lockdown, also, Ryan Storm, the legendary YouTube champion, squaring off against the United States champion, DJ Chaotic, squaring off against yours truly, the international champion, CJ Mondo. Another huge match announced for Thursday Night Lockdown on episode 23. So that's two good matches here that's been announced. So I'm glad to announce that to you guys as my fans and viewers of this talk show, and also of my YouTube channel, and also welcome. Now I'm going to switch it all over to Monday Night Inferno now. We talk about the Hardcore Undisputed title. And there's only one man that's currently the champion. Also, he's a man that's going to be on Saturday's podcast with JTV Wrestling, their hardcore champion, which is our undisputed hardcore champion, Colin Klein. He will be defending that title on Monday Night Inferno against Yin Yang in a match for that hardcore title. Going to be interesting on that, too. We're going to see Colin Klein defend that title on Monday Night Inferno. Huge match there. Now, when we talk about a lot of stuff, now I'm going to go back to this question of Real Deal Alex King here. He asked, is CJ Mondo still happening, the match between ATK and CJ Mondo? That match is actually happening on Monday Night Inferno. So, yes, that I will confirm that. That match is going to be something special. Not going to say anything more about it or give any spoilers. Just watch. Also for Thursday night, just watch and find out what happens. Now, I'm going to go back to the Q&A. And you guys can ask me anything that is about my career in general. If you guys want to ask my favorite rivalry, my favorite match I've ever had, etc. So you guys also, this is not also going to be about my company, but also we're going to tune it about me on this podcast, because episode 4 we're going to bring in some names in other places. So huge thing that's going to happen there. Now, if you guys got any questions, now's the time to ask, and I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. And I think actually Big John Bundy actually answered his question. I'm going to answer him here. Biggest achievement in call. So this is actually one of those questions I'm going to answer here. Now, this is actually a good question by him, so I'm also going to give him a good answer. Biggest achievement in call in my book as CJ Mondo. Now, there's a lot of companies I've been in, I'm not going to lie. One of those companies, I would have to say, it's pretty much down to heart when I say this, has to be the day I beat El Diablo for the HKW Chaos title. That was to me, that was my biggest achievement that I've done in call. Now there's still other achievements that I'm still doing to this day. I mean, not many people really, I guess you could say, not many people really saw me being in JTV. They really said, "Oh, he'll never show up there." And to me, I mean, I really and truly, to me, like these same people that really doubted me is the same people that's hating. I mean, I'm just being straight up honest. And the thing is about, the call community is that, I agree with Kevin Impact as well as Ricky Armstrong is, if you got like grudges or anything of that nature that's causing you to be a negative person, the only thing I'm going to say is, my second biggest achievement is, I can't change people, but I can change what I do on my end. So my company is pretty much not going to be drama. So that's pretty much done and over with. People gets mad because I make a decision who I want in my company. That's my decision, respected. At the end of the day, you can't make people do what you wanted to do. So there's that at the table. Like, to me, I agree with what Kevin Impact said on episode 2, that, there's a thing that I will go back and requote him when he talked about Ray is, I'm 100% with him on this. Ray's a good guy. I'm not going to say anything about him, but at the same time, I'm giving him time because of his mental health and all that other stuff. So it's, Ray's got to take time for himself to heal. So I'm just saying that right here on this talk show on episode 3. So, as far as that goes, moving this forward, going back to JTV's Snow Showdown show. Now, we saw the main event. And I'm not going to tell you who's in the main event, but I'm just going to say your guys are in for a roller coaster moment, if I can say that. Because when J Kidd said he's going to literally bring WCW to where it should have been and what we should have gotten, he's right about every word. I'm just going to tell you that right now. As far as that goes, I mean, who knows what we got for 2026? You know, 2026 is a different year. We got a lot of stuff that is happening that is going to be interesting and fun at the same time. So, I'm also going to change it over to the Q&A portion of this talk show. Like I said, guys, if you guys got any questions, feel free to comment in the chat. You know, it may be my show, JTV's, anything you want to ask about that's in the it may be in PWAs, it may be in AHW, it may be in WWU. Speaking of WWU, I got a huge announcement for you guys. Now, many of you guys do not know, which I'm going to break this to you as a teaser. WWU is now, what I heard from my ears in the rumors, is now making a podcast. So I'm giving Daniel a shout out for WWU on that. We don't know who's going to be on the podcast. This is what I'm hearing now. So I don't know who's going to be on this podcast, but I'm just kind of curious and excited that they are opening something new to do the podcast. Could they get Kevin Impact? Could they get somebody we don't know? Who knows? But I can guarantee you, you may want to stick to the WWU because it's going to be an interesting podcast on their part. Now, like I said, tonight, less than 12 hours, we're going to see, well, be technically 11 hours and 11 minutes. We're going to see JTV Snow Showdown. Cannot wait to see what happens tonight. Also, guys, I know you guys are out and about getting ready for traveling and doing all sorts of stuff for Christmas and Christmas Eve and all of that. So, going to be interesting on this. You know, if we don't get a chance to talk, or if we are, you know, spending time with family, whatever the case may be, for my channel, to everyone that has supported this channel, that has helped this channel grow, that has helped this everybody that's pretty much been there, and even the haters. I'm not going to leave them out because they have their time too. But the fact of the matter is this. From the bottom of my heart, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't get to talk to you guys. So there's that. Now, we're going to see a lot of things happening with this talk show. I've decided on this real hard. I might bring in somebody that knows the call business and knows how to operate it. And pretty much he's going to be a good guest. I'm working on that as of now. So, going to be interesting to see. Far as that goes, I'm going to bring somebody in here also from another company. And I'm going to do it right now, so give me just a minute. And we're going to get him right in here for episode 3. So we're going to talk to you guys about a lot of stuff. Now, I just sent him the invite, so you guys will actually get to not only be a part of that, but, you know, that's the announcements I want to make here for Monday Night Inferno and Thursday Night Lockdown. Now, as far as that goes, we're going to take a minute here, and we will be back as soon as this minute is over because I'm going to have to go get a coffee break. So stay tuned. Alrighty then, we are back with that 1 minute break with the coffee break. I hope you guys are enjoying your Christmas Eve. And going to be interesting to see what transpires. And I'm going to take this off the stage as Big John Bundy's pretty much had his Q&A. There's a lot of things I also want to get off my chest this morning. And before we do that, we're going to take a 15-second thing to remember everyone that has deceased and cannot no longer be enjoyed with us for Christmas. So silent memorial here for all those people that cannot be with us. So we will be right back for those. Now, there's a lot of things also that personally what I think, WWE needs to do far as a video game that just hit me like a ton of bricks. I think they need to come up with this thing that if you download a call without someone's permission, especially downloading an attire that is not that you didn't make, I think they need to have like a baseball rule to where 1, it's a strike, 2, it's like a suspension for 30 days, and 3, they get rid of your account. That's what I think they should do for WWE 2K26 to solve a lot of problems in the community creation part. That's what I personally think what they need to do. Now, to keep you guys entertained, this is going to be a little thing that I'm going to do. It's not only a Q&A. We're going to let you guys do this. And if I can set this up right, hopefully I can. Now we get on this topic, shows to join. And here's a recommendation if you are new to call, especially if it's AI player versus player scenario. Here would be my recommendations. And this is the reason why that I say this. Personally, in my opinion, I really think that these companies are pretty much on my recommendation list, which means these what I would recommend for new guys that want to learn about, the call community and a little taste on how the business actually works. Definitely Kevin Impact's JTV. That's the first on the list. And then, Ricky Armstrong, DJ Chaotic, myself, JMR's. I mean, we give you guys a little taste of what the business is really like. A lot of people, here's what I'm going to clarify here. A lot of people, they want to say that, Kevin Impact brought up a good thing. These same people, been hating on me and J-Kid because, J-Kid, Kevin Impact, whatever you want to call him, is because of two simple things. One, we wanted to do something positive for the community, and they did not like that. So what did they do? They had to be negative. It's a choice. I don't really like to get on this topic as much, but it's a choice. You got a choice. They did the same thing to Kevin Impact. Blaming Kevin Impact for brainwashing people. They said, "Oh, Kevin Impact's brainwashing them," or blah yada yada, and then they do the same thing to me. So, and really, on all reality, when we think about this, I'm just gonna say it like I see it. Okay. For the question I'm going to ask here, that's personally that I want to ask. personally, I want to ask this question, when I got cut off due to the internet. If you really want to blame somebody for, brainwashing people, then where's the actual proof? Because the he said, she said bullshit's not going to get you nowhere. Because let's be honest. Let's put this on thin ice. That's the old thing that I'm going to talk about. Because I'm going to talk about this topic right now here on my talk show. If you're going to blame somebody and try to make them look bad, karma's got a way of coming back. And trust me when I say this, it's not going to be to me. It's not going to be to anybody in this little crew or in JTV or anywhere else that is positivity. What you do to people is going to come back. It's like a boomerang. It's always going to come back to you. Because here's the sad part about this. It's kind of funny how you blame people for try to blame them falsely, but you don't really take actions for what you really do. So, in all honesty, and I'm trying to get this out here on this short episode, on episode 3 here on this talk show, if you really want to try to blame people for the actions and their thing, and you want to be that childish, then here's my, advice that I'm going to give you personally. You could take it or leave it, because I'm a good guy and I've changed. So one, if you really want to set your standards to where that you can get trust back with people, one would be your actions. This is something I'm literally going to preach on for probably 10 to 15 minutes on. Because, here's the problem with the community that I personally think that not only it should be looked at, but also, I agree with what Kevin Impact said on the last episode. They should be kicked out. If you have hatred because somebody else is succeeding and you don't really show that brotherly love and, and accept the fact that somebody's always going to be better than you, that's the reason why that I don't really talk to a lot of people. I keep my circle small, if that makes sense. And one of those reasons why is this. Because a lot of people loves to blame me for a lot of stuff. And I'm going to get this out here, and I'm being positive about this. I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that. But I'm going to talk this to not only the community, but also to everybody that has done me wrong in the past. Funny that it's kind of funny to try to blame me for everything, trying to say that, CJ's drama this, CJ's drama that. But at the same time, do you really take a look at yourselves and notice anything in the room? Because it's kind of funny how you constantly keep blaming me, but you say to yourself that you really don't have or never turn your back on anybody. I kind of think that's funny, because if we go back in history, I'm getting this all out here in one information on this podcast. So in all history, if you said that you never turn your back on nobody, then explain to me to the part about you saying in all general that and I'm trying to get this out here. You're basically saying that you don't do nobody wrong, but at the same time, you have somebody else going around putting my name in their mouth and don't really have proof. But at the same time, you guys want to hold grudges of what's in the past. So how is that being positive when you hold grudges in the past and want to cling on to the past and not move forward? That's the only thing I'm saying on here. J Kid's right. And I'll give J Kid a shout out for this too. Why would I argue with a bunch of idiots? Why would I waste my breath on somebody that doesn't really get the picture or see the picture through? I mean, let's just put the standards on a silver platter here. I mean, you really want to say that you are you really want to say that you are about positivity. But here's the question that I'm going to ask here. And I don't want nobody to get mad at me. I want everybody, these people to be honest, because it's about time they actually be honest with themselves. How is every time that when you want somebody out of the company, you always want to pull out somebody that you see no potential in, or you just have personal past grudges against that you always want to get them out. But at the same time, let's talk about this. Let's talk about something that I've saw also in the community. How is it somebody's fault when they want to be positive? How is it somebody's fault being negative when they want to do positive things, and you're going to say negative things about them that's not true, that you're basically stirring more shit on yourself than you are that person, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's the God's honest truth. You can get mad, you can hate me, you can love me, but at the end of the day, that's the truth, and it's going to stand on the truth. Now, I could go, I could be like J Kid on a few topics. I can go in all detail about these people, but I'm not going to waste my breath. I'm pretty much so. There's that on the topic list. Now, there's another thing I want to mention too about the community. Ever since I've in Ricky's promotion and been in J Kid's promotion, which is, Kevin Impact, and also being a part of PWA, I think it's funny that you guys have, J Kid's right about this topic. His haters are my haters now, because these people cannot stand that the fact is that I'm wanting to better myself. And that's the problem with people, that they can't really stand is when you better yourself, that's when you become the bigger, I guess, not really target, but you become hated because you want to do better. You know, this is the problem that I'm going to address as it needs to be. You know, the call community, it should be based on these three things. One of those things would be the brotherhood. But how can you exactly make the brotherhood with it when you literally want to hold grudges, when you literally want to blame people for something they didn't do? And in all honesty, it goes back to respect as well. That's another thing I'm going to say. That's the 2 out of the 3. So in other words, not only you failed in the brotherhood category, you failed in respect because you slandered somebody over lies, bullshit, and toxicity. And here's the thing that I'm going to say here, and I don't, to be honest, I'll tell it like it is, and that's why most of the people does not like me to this day. This one individual, and many of him that followed this one individual, decided to choose fakeness over real friends. One person brought that to my attention yesterday, and I gotta agree, this person was 100% right about this. Not gonna say who it was, but the only thing I'm gonna say, it was brought to my attention yesterday. I want to get that out. And going back to the respect and brotherhood, the unity. When you slander somebody over lies and bullshit, you're breaking the unity part. You're causing people not to be together. You're causing divisions. So in all reality is, how can it be that you want to cause divisions and you want to cause all this chaos and you want to try to pinpoint it on somebody else? And I'm going to say this, and this is from the bottom of my heart, that the good Lord knows that I'm truthful about, and it's going to happen. Cash this check in, because it's going to go straight to the bank. When you do people wrong like that, it's going to come back to you. Your sin is going to find you out. And when it does, and when everybody else sees the whole bullshit agenda, at the end of the day, we're going to really hit some lines here on this last part of this talk show. Then that's when the empire comes crumbling straight down. It's kind of like a roller coaster. You had your ups and down moments, but there's one part of the track that was down slope that's taking you straight to where you belong, and that is out of the eFed call community. And that's the only thing I'm going to say about it. I'm not saying anything hateful, anything that's, making a lot of people mad. I'm speaking mad truth. Respect it. At the end of the day, I'm speaking exactly what's going to happen. But until then, tonight, like I said, JTV's got a show, Snow Showdown. It's on 6 p.m. tonight. Also, what's going to happen tonight is this. We're literally going to see